Hey guys, welcome to Timberline's movement analysis session for November 26th. And I'm here with Jay, and we're gonna do some ski MA, and Jay is gonna talk to us about what he'd like to learn.
Okay, so I'm primarily interested in the ski side of movement analysis and whatnot. So if you have something that you want to cover today, just since I'm the only ski guy here or the only other student here, then I'm all in on the ski side of it.
Great, I've got some ski video prepped, and we were talking about the fundamentals right before we flipped onto recording. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Would you like to go back to that?
Yeah, so, we've got in the PSIA, we have the 3 skills and then the 5 fundamentals. And so when you instructed the meeting last time, I was concerned about, I had question about when you really look at somebody, how do you, where do you focus in to start with? And then how do you differentiate those different traits? And that's what I think. My assumption is it takes a lot of practice to really be able to zero in on each one of those things, and you have to have a good eye. For example, somebody putting pressure on the fore and aft of a ski, I guess that's pretty apparent. They're more leaning forward, and they're more leaning backward, and you can see on the edges and stuff like that. But I think that would be helpful to really get your take on how to really zero in on those. And then also, I thought it was really constructive when you used your little pointer or marker that you had on the screen to point out in a line, where they were either leaning forward or leaning backward, or how they were bending at the hips or not bending at the hips. I thought that was really, really helpful.
Yeah, Zoom's kind of a cool thing because we can use technology like annotate, and that lets us write on the screen. And we can all see it right in front of us, which is really cool. So let's start out with some definitions. Sound good?
Yeah.
So the 3 skill things, do you remember what they're called?
Yeah, let's see, rotation, edging, and pressure.
Right, so those are the 3 skill pools, and they all relate directly to the fundamentals. And then there are 5 fundamentals. And I'm gonna see if I can pull them up quickly, because I have them on a piece of paper, but I do not have them up on the screen in front of me.
Yeah.
So the way, when I do movement analysis for skiing, or when you do a movement analysis for skiing for a cert exam or on your student, you're usually going to want to pick one skill pool to start out with, because that makes it more simpler for your students or for you at an exam, and that's what the examiners are looking to see. So you'd pick either rotary, edging, or pressure, and one of those is going to pop out to you the easiest. It's kind of just the way it is. One thing, you'll be able to see one thing easier than other things, and as you train your eye more and more, others will become easier to see too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, only thing on the rotary side of it, I think it's the leg that really turns when you turn that way, and I think that's kind of hard to. I found that to be harder to really zero in on. So anyway, that was just one of the things of those 3 things I wanted to throw out there.
Cool. So rotary control is basically the kind of the direction the skis are going, like when you're turning. So let's talk about where that rotary comes from. So what joint do you use when you rotate your skis around mostly?
Your hip joints.
Yes. So specifically, what bone and what?
The femur up at the top.
Exactly, the femur and your hip socket. And if you look for that for rotation, it's a little bit easier to see it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So then if we bring that into the fundamentals, that fundamental is control the ski's rotation, turning, pivoting, steering with leg rotation separate from the upper body. So that's the femur rotating around in the hip socket, which allows us to steer. Does that make sense?
Yep, yep.
Cool. So I'm going to pull up a video. I actually chose a video that was focused on something else. So I'm hoping that we can find something related to this in that video too.
Yeah, go for it. I have a cup of tea I want to get here.
Great.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to pull up the video that I've queued up, and we're going to focus in on rotary in that video and the fundamental that we just talked about,
Okay.
which was control the ski's rotation, turning, pivoting, steering with leg rotation separate from the upper body. I'll throw that up on the screen for you. And then I'll put the video up first and I'll write on the video so we can see all the videos playing.
Okay.
So we'll just watch through this video a couple times. Remember, we're looking for rotation. All right, are you able to see that text?
I can see the video fine. I think it's really hard to differentiate between it's almost like you can turn by just angling and being on your edges. And I just think it's hard to pick out the legs actually turning there, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
We're going to slow it down and pinpoint it so it's easier to see. Let's wait till the skier gets right in front of us. All right, so do you see that turn that skier is making?
Yep.
So we'll pick a phase in the turn. Do you see how the inside leg is flexed more than the outside leg?
Now, when you talk about inside and out, I talk uphill, downhill. Some people go inside, outside. I know PSIA goes inside, outside.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking the inside ski,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking at the one that is the person's right arm, right leg?
Yes.
Okay.
So inside or downhill ski?
Well, as they're coming across the slope, I see that as being going uphill. So anyway.
Oh, there's a bunch of interesting stuff happening in this video.
Yeah, I noticed the one ski, the left ski is going forward and backwards.
Yeah, the lead is changing.
That's another question I had maybe for this particular presentation, is that some people talk about doing ski lead. I'd like to get your take on that as well. So
I'm going to defer to a trainer who is more experienced in skiing to talk about that.
okay.
I'll ask Dennis to talk about it the next one he leads.
Okay.
And I'm just writing that down.
Yeah, ski lead.
Cool, so I've got that down. So let's take a look at that inside leg or the downhill leg, okay?
Okay.
All right. So if you look at the skier, right? They are initiating their turn. What do you say, right about there-ish?
Yeah.
To there?
Yeah.
Okay. And then watch that lower leg, the downhill one,
Yeah.
starting to rotate out. Do you see that right there? It's rotating externally. to allow the skier to start to get on their new edge. So if this is their, sorry, I'll do it this way. If my elbow is their foot, right, they're rotating like that. Does that make sense to you?
So are we talking about their left leg or their right leg?
Their right leg.
Okay, go ahead now.
Okay. They're talking about their right leg. It's rotating externally in the hip socket right there. And you know that because as the skier rises up,
Yeah,
their leg slightly rolls out right there. Do you see how you can see the inside of the skier's jacket right there? Right over there.
right there, yeah.
Okay. And then as I scroll, get off annotate. And then as you go through, it disappears.
Right.
I lost it.
I saw it.
So as that little dot goes through, right?
Yeah,
The inside disappears. As the skier slightly rises and starts to push that right leg, the downhill leg,
yeah,
towards the inside of the turn, which allows the skier to get onto the new edge, right?
right.
And then you can see the skier rolling slightly onto the edge of the ski that is about to be the new inside ski or downhill ski.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just a very, it's so subtle though, isn't it? Do you
It
find?
is a really subtle movement. But if you think about it, if the skier were to just turn, they'd kind of just stand up, ride the skis for a long time until the natural arc of them just brought them around. Does that make sense? So like if you were to use terrain to make you turn.
Yeah.
But the skier is actively steering around, and that's why they're arcing around. Because they're skidding.
Yeah.
So for skiers, you have the inside ski and outside ski. So both femurs are rotating, right?
Yeah.
So you see that slight rotation of the outside ski too?
I do. Yeah.
Cool. Is it rotating less or more than the inside? And how do you know?
Let's see. That's really a good question because you're coming across.
And I'm going frame by frame, so it's going to be like a little choppy, but you should be able to see the video pretty well. That's a good spot to stop.
Yeah, it looks like that's where that you have ski lead, as they call it, going on there. So I'm gonna say that is rotating more at that point because it's going out and kind of maybe turning a little bit, rotating more.
So I would actually say it's kind of rotating a little bit less.
A little less.
And the reason is, do you see how much more flexed right there?
The right leg is?
The right leg is, the inside leg is from the
Yeah.
outside leg.
Yeah.
And we'd want them to be a little more equally flexed. And the reason I can tell it is, do you see how the lead change keeps happening like throughout the turn? She keeps popping in and out and in and out and in and out like that.
I do see that.
And you'd want it to be more smooth and more consistent.
Right.
And if her rotary and other things were a little bit more precise, that would allow her to be more smooth and more consistent.
Okay.
Since she's extending her leg, when you extend a joint to a max or to closer to a max, would you agree she's pretty extended there?
Yeah.
See that left ankle? I'm just pulling up something to write with. So left ankle is kind of right there, right?
Yep.
Actually, undo. Right?
Okay.
And her right leg is like that. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
It shows that since she's more flexed right here, it allows her to rotate more. So if you were to stand up with one really flexed leg and one straight leg, and you can do it right now if you want, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You'd see that the one that's more flexed has more range of motion because motion promotes motion.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So the more flex you have, the more opportunity you have for motion, rotation.
When you're flexed, you have more opportunity for motion because you're moving more, and that creates the opportunity for more movement. If you're pretty extended, there's not as much opportunity to create movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you jump up
Yeah.
and you have one leg pretty extended, one leg pretty flexed.
Yeah.
Let's lock out that knee. Can you see my legs right now?
Yeah.
Right, so if you lock out that outside leg,
Yeah.
are you able to rotate it a lot?
Not too well.
No, not too well at all. So most of the rotary is coming from the inside leg.
Yeah, I got it. Well, that's a great example.
Yeah, and you'd want the rotary to be you'd want it to be together because you want the skis to move together in parallel.
Yeah.
Let me jump out of annotate for a sec.
So she has to minimize the extension, actually flex that outside ski leg more, right?
Yeah, she could flex that outside leg a little bit more, but do you see her ankles? Here, I'll get rid of annotate so those little lines get off the screen.
Yeah.
Clear all drawings. So if her ankles were a little more flexed, right, it would allow her to be more centered over the ski, which will allow her to rotate more effectively.
Yeah, okay. So she was more in the back seat, as they say, huh?
Yes, but then we're switching to a different skill pool. We're switching to another skill pool. We're also switching to another fundamental.
Okay.
So we're switching more to pressure now. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And at the Cert 1 level, you'd want to focus on one skill pool in one phase of the turn, and you want to talk about what's happening with the ski and what the body's doing
Okay.
as the cause and effect. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
For example, most of her rotary is coming from her inside femur, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
she's more flexed in her inside knee. Cool.
Yep.
Or more rotaries coming from her inside femur, and you can tell because her outside leg is pretty extended in her knee.
Yeah. Yeah, great example there. I get it.
Cool. I like when those connections make sense.
Yeah. It'll take a while to really pick that up, though. You have to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, you have to know what you're looking for and practice. Like, it takes time. Like, even when I go back to ski MA, I mean, I do snowboard MA way more often than ski MA. And for ski, I need to focus and think. So it's not just you, it's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I like what you said about pressure. Can you tell me more?
Well,
So let me know when you'd like the video pause, and I'll stop it.
let you know when what now?
When you'd like me to pause the video, and we can focus on that point.
Well, I would say back it up a little bit. Well, you can keep going there. Yeah, back it up, whatever. So I'd say pressure going on there. She's really back though. She looks like she's back at her skis again.
She is back on her skis. So where is that putting pressure?
On the tail of the skis.
Exactly, you got it. So what joints are extended right here?
Well, her hip joints, it looks like she's more straight up and down. I'd say.
Okay. So her hip, right?
Yeah, and that outside ski again is extended. More than the inside ski, I guess.
Okay. And then, so her outside, so you'd say her outside leg rather than her outside ski.
Yeah, her outside leg, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you know what you're talking about. It's important to be
Yeah.
specific though, because when we're with our students, they'll need specifics.
Yeah, got it.
Cool. And then what is the main joint that is extended or most extended in this example?
I would say the hip joint.
Is most extended?
Oh, extended?
Yes.
It would still be that outside leg again.
So if we had to pick a joint though on the outside leg,
Well, it's either the knee or the ankle joint.
cool. Why?
Well, because she's leaning backwards, so she has her the front of her foot going down, so that extends that ankle joint.
Mhm.
And her knee is, she's back on her knee. She's got her weight backwards on her hips, so that makes her left knee or her outside knee, they get extended a little bit.
Cool. So since her ankles, right, we agree both the ankles are pretty extended. Her back ankle is extended more and her back knee is also extended more than the front knee. It causes her to bend more at the hips than at the knees and ankles, right? Which causes her to be aft, which is the term that we use in snowboarding for being over the tail of your skis.
Yeah, okay.
So we'd be in the skill pool of pressure here. And then I'll read off the fundamental and I can also write it at the bottom of the screen too. So the official wording of the fundamental is control the relationship of the center of mass to the base of support to direct pressure along the length of the skis. So there are some terms in there. Are you familiar with the center of mass?
Yes, just as you stack up over your skis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you stack up over your skis, the way I like to describe it to new instructors is it's the heavy part of your body.
Okay.
Cool. So if you were like to hang a pendulum down, like you put a pendulum on your chest and you
Yeah.
hung it down to wherever it hung down to, that would be where your center of mass is. Cool. Are you familiar with base of support?
I would say ankle and mostly ankle and, well, base of support. Hip, ankle, and hip, knee, ankle.
So it would be the base, like kind of along the length of the ski.
At your ankles, your feet.
Like where you go down. Yeah. And then direct pressure along the length of the ski, that's just tip to tail.
Yeah.
And I know you've got that one locked in. And I also know it's a lot of technical words. I'll type it in here so you can see it in writing too, because sometimes that's helpful. Cool. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Awesome. I'll leave that up here for a second. I might have a guest appear and so I'm going to ask one of my friends to help me out with your question, if you're good with that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, you bet.
All right, I'm sorry. I thought we could have a guest, but he is about to go out.
That's okay. I was just turning something off.
Yeah,
Say,
no worries. You're all good.
say again now.
I am unable to have the guest trainer come on. My roommate is a ski trainer at Beaver Creek, and I was hoping he'd be available to help us out, but he's about to go out.
Okay.
Yeah, so sorry. I'll put that on the list to ask Dennis to help us out or Tracy to help us out with.
Yeah, that's fine. That'd be good
Yeah.
for your next session or whenever we get together again.
Yeah, I'd rather get a ski trainer to discuss that because I feel like I might give you a confusing answer and I don't want to confuse you.
Yeah, I've heard both. I've heard a plus for that type of technique and a minus. So I'd be really interested to see how that question gets answered.
Well, there are important things involved with lead changes, but
Yep.
with the technicalities, I'd rather Dennis or a ski trainer describe that because
Yeah, that's,
I want to make sure we get that right.
Yep. Sounds good.
Cool. Hey, do you have any video of you skiing? We can pull up some of your video if you've got some.
You know, I don't. I had one taken of me last year up at Timberline, but I don't know how to pull it up and get it on my computer. It's on my phone.
Okay, no worries. I'm going to be up there in a couple weeks. We can talk about it then if you're up there at all.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have snow when you come out.
I know. I'm coming December 8th through 15th. So hopefully there'll be snow that week.
Are you going to be teaching then, or what?
I will be helping out with whatever's needed. I'm scheduled to lead some training. I think I'm scheduled to lead it might be a Thursday night clinic or Thursday afternoon clinic, and then maybe Saturday and Sunday morning clinics.
And what days are those again? You're going to do that?
I think that, so they're going to be snowboard clinics. You're more than welcome to come if you'd like. But I'm thinking Saturday mornings, and I think the day one is on a Thursday, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to do our ski progressions and stuff like that on the 4th or 5th or 5th and 6th, whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah. So you'll be up after that, right?
Yes, I will get to town on the 8th, and then I will be working the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. And then I'll have the 14th off, and then I leave the 15th.
So the clinic you're going to give is going to be on snowboarding, or you're going to do one on skiing, or both?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
You are welcome regardless. It could be a soft topic, like a children's topic or something.
Okay.
Or it could be like a teaching skills topic. I'm not really sure yet. I need to talk to the managers about it.
Yeah, teaching the skills type of thing would be of interest as well.
Yeah, sure. If there's a specific skill you're interested in, let me know and I can throw it out and see if it's okay, and we can maybe go that route one day.
All right, well, I'll think about that and then throw it out to you.
Yeah, I'll give you my number. Shoot me a text. I'm going to put it in the chat because I don't want to randomly give it to everybody who could do it. Sorry, guys. I love all of you. All right, so I just sent that to you in a direct message.
All right, hold on a second. It's really small. I can see it.
Cool.
I'll put it up again. Oh, wait a minute. It was up. I'm going to click on it. There it is. Okay, hold on.
I'm going to stop the share for a second so I don't accidentally.
Okay, I got it, I think.
Yeah, so shoot me a message if you think of a topic you'd like to do. And you're more than welcome in any clinic I run, as long as the managers are okay with it.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and there should be some ski clinics going out too after new hire training's over.
Yeah, if they're going to do some ski clinics up there at the same time, I would definitely be interested in that. But if you're going to do a clinic on, you know, like taking a particular skill and talking about that, that would be good too.
Awesome. Yeah, and we could do that on Zoom too if we want, or we could get a bunch of video in one of the clinics and then talk about it on these Zoom calls. There are so many options.
Yeah.
But shoot me a text if there's something specific that you'd like to work on.
All right. That sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah, and if it's more ski specific, I'll send it to Tracy and we'll get whoever the next ski trainer is leading a clinic that you go to address it.
Yep. Okay.
Cool. So do you have any questions about that fundamental, controlling the pressure along the length of the ski?
Um, so just to say what I think it is, we're really controlling the pressure by putting pressure on our, the ball of our feet versus the heel of our feet, and controlling our weight that way by moving our ankles, fore and aft type of thing, trying to still be kind of centered over the center of the ski, kind of like, is that where we're coming from?
Ideally, it's real versus ideal. So in an ideal situation, we'd like the angle of the hips, the angle of the knees, and the angle of the ankles to be pretty similar. So for this skier, I'm just going to use pink because it's really easy to see.
Yeah.
Angle of the hips, angle of the knees, angle of the ankle. So are those?
Yeah,
Actually,
they're close.
that was not a good drawing. I'm sorry.
It's close.
Hips, right?
Yep.
Knee.
Yep.
And then ankle.
Okay.
So that's a little more accurate.
Yeah.
And
So
then ideally,
that's a good thing to look. Let me write that down too. I'm gonna write that down. 2, 3, 4. Okay.
so the reason we'd want that, right, to be like the second drawing is because if you drew a line down where the center of mass would be, it would be right over the feet, right?
Right.
Oops, that's a terrible drawing of a ski. But in this case, let me grab a different color. Hopefully that'll work. Skis are here. Skis are here. And then would you agree the center of mass is more there?
Absolutely.
So do you see the difference between the two drawings?
Yeah, that's a good drawing. I like that. I'm just writing that down. Yeah,
Yeah, and the center of mass might even actually be a little behind the line that I drew.
it's okay. I get it.
But it's a cool thing to see when you start teaching students, especially children. You're going to see children so aft on the tails of their skis just because they're little and their heads are really heavy. And it's easy for them. And ankle joint is more fine motor movement. And they can do it. It's just hard for them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard for adults too.
Yeah, that's a great diagram there. I like that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm trying to draw as much as possible since you mentioned that the lines were pretty helpful.
Absolutely.
Cool. So we've talked about two of the skill pools, right? We've talked about rotary and pressure. So we haven't talked about edging yet, right?
Correct.
Cool. Are we going in a direction that you'd like to go, or do you want to redirect?
Yeah,
somewhere
no,
else?
this is really good. Particularly this last one you did. That's really good with the graphics there.
Cool.
Really.
Do you want those for a little longer, or do you want me to?
No, I wrote them
disappear?
down. I got them.
Cool. I'm going to clear that to make the next.
Actually, hold on. I'll make a screenshot of that.
Cool.
That'd be better. Okay, got it.
All right, I'm going to clear them to make it easier to see the next one.
Yep.
All right, so the next fundamental we'll talk about, and this is the third one that we're going over, is going to be in relation to edging. So it's control edge angles through a combination of inclination and angulation. So I'll write it down here so you can see the words.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm gonna jump into the video and we're gonna find a place where we can see everything really well. So it's just gonna be when it's like a really close shot. Cool, I like that shot.
Okay.
Let me go back to. All right, so it looks like it's the finish of the turn, right?
Mhm.
So what would you expect? So ideally, what would you like the edge angles to be like at the finish of a turn?
Um,
If
more-
someone's skiing parallel.
as you finish your turn, more flat, I guess would be the way to frame that up.
So I'd like to go with more equal.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Does that make
The
sense?
edges, the edge is more equal. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about some definitions. We'll just take a step aside for a second. So have you heard the terms inclination and angulation before?
Yes.
Cool. Can you tell me your understanding of inclination?
Is basically leaning one side to the other.
Leaning what?
You know, taking your center mass and moving it over to the left or to the right.
Cool. So we'd usually say to the inside or the outside of the turn.
Yeah, inside or outside. Okay.
Yeah. And when you have students, left and right might make more sense to them. Inside, outside might make more sense. It's cool to have lots of ways to describe things because different things make sense to different people.
Yeah.
Cool. What is your understanding of angulation?
So angulation is at the same time that you're, you know, leaning to the inside or the outside, you're also using your hips and your knees to angle your body more in the direction you're trying to go.
So flexing adjacent body parts
Yep,
or
that'd be
adjacent
that'd be a better way to say it.
to control what your skis are doing.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's take a look at this guy's skis because we're talking about the edging skill pool, right?
Right.
And we're talking about the fundamental that involves controlling your edge angles, your inclination and angulation. So let's take a look at the skis first.
Okay.
So which ski, are both skis tilted the same? Is one tilted more? Is one tilted less? What are you noticing?
Well, it's pretty small on my screen, but I would say that the
Hang on one sec. Does that help you?
oh yeah, that's a lot better.
I think that's all I can get.
That's good. That's perfect. I can really tell the difference now. Yeah. So the what I would call be the uphill ski now
Mhm.
is more angled, more on an edge than the downhill ski
Cool.
by quite a bit.
Cool. I like it. That's exactly what's going on here. And how can you tell?
Because you can see more of the bottom of the ski in the uphill ski.
I like it. You can see more at the bottom of the ski. You can see more shadow.
Yeah, shadow would be the way to that'd be the way to say that. Yep.
Yeah, you can see a lot of stuff. Cool. So we're relating this to inclination and angulation, right?
Correct.
Explain to me what you see, please.
Well, I don't see a lot of angulation there. It looks to me like the body is going the same direction as the skis, although, and I see inclination because we see the edges of the shadows, to use your phrase there, the shadow of the uphill ski more than the downhill ski. Just trying to think how you, from my perspective, if her hips were more pushed toward into the uphill, into the snow, that would show more angulation in my view.
So the question is, do her hips want to be pushed more uphill?
I would
And
say,
what do you mean? What do you mean by pushed more uphill, actually?
I mean, using, you know, hip rotation to angulate more, to put more weight more uphill, I guess is what I'm trying to say, angulating more. Although she is angulating a little bit, you can see that there.
So when you angulate on skis, right, it involves some upper and lower body separation, right? So you're
Right.
like this. Can you see my lower body at all?
Yeah.
And your skis are kind of under your body. You can't see my legs at all. Your skis are kind of under your body like that. And then your upper body is like this. Do you see that?
I can't see your upper body, but I can see your knees and your hips. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So there's, like you just, that, I guess that's the key word. There's a lot of separation there. In yourself, when you just demonstrated.
Right. Is there a lot of separation in her or him? I can't tell if this is a guy or girl.
There's some, but I wouldn't call it, a lot.
Now, the skier is moving mostly as a unit, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of inclining to go side to side. We can especially see it right there, right?
It's hard to see there, the incline there for me.
Let me show you. You see the skier shoulders? Oh, I guess we're teal now.
Yeah.
So since the skier shoulders are leaning in like that, right?
Yeah.
Where would you think the center of mass would be?
More on the edges of the skis. Are you saying the center of mass with regard to stacking the body?
Yeah. So with the center of mass, the inside, a little bit inside the turn or a little bit outside the turn?
A little bit inside the turn.
Mm-hmm. So the skier is inclining slightly towards the inside, right?
Right.
Oops. So hard to remember the right buttons all the time. You see the skier leaning in now?
Yep, I do see that. Yeah, when you see the shoulder down more, yeah.
Right. And we can see it here more, right? Mostly in.
Yeah, big time there.
Sorry, we lost the skier. I think the video just ends there.
Yeah, there you can see really a lot of it, like you said.
I just really want that end shot, and we're not going to get it.
Okay, but I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah. So let's watch the skier roll through the video. So really inclinated there, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of angulation, then goes back to inclining. And let me show you something.
Yeah, that's a good one for inclination right there too.
Mm-hmm. I want you to watch the shoulders. So ideally, right, the skier would want their shoulders to remain downhill, right? For the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Which would mean you'd see the chest square on. Is that the case for this whole video?
Um, she seems to be following the skis more there, seems like.
Exactly. She's following the skis more with her shoulders, right?
Yeah,
So that would be an indication moving towards upper and lower body separation that she's more aligned or more aligned than separated.
for sure. I get that.
And I know we just kind of jumped around a little bit
No,
in
no,
terms of skills we were talking about,
yeah.
but that's a cool thing to see. Do you have any questions about that?
No, I got that. Particularly when you pointed out how the shoulders, the line and the chart on the shoulders. Yeah, that's good.
Cool. So the thing we want to focus on when doing this is staying within one skill pool, right? Because if we're talking about edgy and we shift into rotary, it's going to confuse things a little bit. And in exams, it's not an acceptable answer to shift between skill pools, right? You need to stay within one skill pool for all your things.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Is that the way
And
they do it? Is that the way they the way they do that? They go one skill at a time like that?
for cert one, it's my understanding
Okay.
that you pick one skill pool, one phase of the turn, and you have to talk about one fundamental.
I got you. Okay.
So we've just talked about how some of the fundamentals relate to the skill pool,
Right.
which is, I think it's a really cool way to organize it. And it's been like that on the ski side for a little while.
Yeah.
And it makes it simpler. It makes it easy to understand, or easier to understand, not easy to understand.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So we talked about the skill pool, the three skills in the skill pool. So there's rotary, edging, and pressure.
Right.
Rotary is how we rotate primarily from the femur in the hip socket, right? Edging is the angle of the skis, and pressure is whether you're aft towards the tail of your skis, fore towards the tips of your skis, and whether you're managing your pressure up and down also. Does that make sense? And then we address 3 of the 5 fundamentals. And the idea is to kind of introduce them and start to expose you guys to them rather than shove them down your throat.
Yeah.
So it's good to learn about them and how they relate to the skill pools and keep it simple rather than just putting them all up on the screen.
Yep.
Do you have any questions about any of that?
No, that's all good.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Jay. I want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Particularly like the drawings. Thanks a lot for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll try to remember to draw more on the screen. I will send your question on to Tracy and ask him to ask one of the ski trainers to explain it or ask him to explain it.
Sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, and I think it might be cool to have a trainer explain that to you on snow so you can see it and feel it at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be good. Sounds good.
Yeah, so I'll talk to Tracy about that. And
Terrific.
thank you so much for coming and have a great night. I'm going to stop the recording now.
Okay, thanks a lot.